Everyone has done that OData development. Yeah, someone share your screen and show me the OData that you create.
Like, is my screen visible to you?
Yes.
This is the output text. And we can perform multiple operations by changing the link.
Sorry, I'm speaking on mute. Yeah. So on this OData, you cannot perform post operation, put operation, other things. You know why? Because you have not implemented that other operations in that given OData. For example, in this OData, so can you provide that company code in the key field in the brackets and then get only one single company code result? Check once. Get operation only for single company code. By giving that company code value as a key field value.
Mm-hmm. COLT. Capital C, capital. Finish. And that. Okay. One. Enter.
Format.
ఇక్కడ స్లాష్ మళ్ళీ పెట్టి చేసాను. Format. So here I got the company code.
If you see the link content type, who is checking that content just before what you are writing, selecting link reference equals to C, yes. C underscore entity set 003, just pass, simply copy that and put it there. It will work.
Sir, like, can you repeat again? I didn't get.
Go to the previous third line, what you have selected, just upper 3 line.
Okay.
Link reference equals to C underscore, just
This
copy
one?
C and no, only copy C underscore entity set 003.
Okay.
With bracket is missing. And remove that part of your entity set and paste it.
Even the select statement in the query.
Remove, put it after SRV.
All. Not all. Only select from.
SRV के बाद. This is right.
Execute. You have not implemented get entity. That's a problem. Otherwise, if you want, you can use $filter. That is what the expectations are, right? I am not following all your session.
No, that is right. That is right, Miguel. So team, that's my ask. So just so why we are actually not getting after passing the key field value, right? When there is only one single key field in the entity, directly that key field value you can pass without mention the field name. But if there are multiple key fields also, yes, it is possible. In your entity set, you can have multiple key fields also. But when you have multiple key fields, during that time, you should pass key field name along with key field value. Both key fields, two key fields also you can pass. But here, when you pass the key field also, why this is not working out? Because in the yesterday OData implementation, what you have done, you have implemented only which operation? Get entity set. If you go to that OData definition, go to that OData OData project, share your screen and go to your OData project. Go to service implementation
Okay.
and expand that. You see. So did you implement get entity or get entity set?
Get entity set.
Yes. So that get entity set will return the multiple records. You are getting that response also. But when you are passing the key field value, during that time, another operation will get triggered. That is called get entity. That is the read operation. By taking that key field value, single key field value, the code will get executed, which is implemented for this get entity. But you have not implemented anything over there for get entity. You see that get entity is still blank. You haven't written any code or you haven't
Yes.
mapped that one to any of the BAPIs also. That is
Yes.
why when you are testing the OData, when you are giving the key field value, the system directly coming and checking here whatever is implemented for get entity, not for get entity set. As there is no implementation for get entity, you are getting that error over there. That corresponding method not yet implemented. Because of that, we are not getting any response over there. In the similar way, can you execute create a post operation, put operation also from your OData testing? Go to that OData client screen. So now instead of get, let us go for post. So
Okay.
can I post a record here? Can I send a record here to post a new entry into my table by using this OData? Again, no, that is not possible. Why that is not possible? Because you have not implemented any coding for that create operation. You go and check in your OData service again. You see there, have you implemented anything for create operation?
No.
Have you
No.
written
No.
it? No. So when the corresponding operations are not yet implemented, the relevant HTTP methods you cannot ignite. You cannot execute them. Right? Because those are so this particular OData so far implemented only for get entity set. So that is the only operation is working out for you. But rest of the operations you cannot run as those are not yet implemented. So we have to map these operations also with corresponding BAPIs if you have anything, definitely, so that you can save some time. If there is no suitable BAPI available for creating a new company code, for deleting one existing company code, for updating the information of a company code, in case if you don't have any suitable BAPIs to map, then also no need to worry. We can write our own logic. We can build our logic to implement these operations. We can write the coding source code, custom source code for executing these methods also, for executing these operations also with your own logic during that time also that will work out. But if you want to write the code for create, for update, for delete, where do you write that code? I told you that you will be writing that all that coding in the class. What is the class name? Which class I told you yesterday?
Extension class.
Which extension? There are two extension classes.
Provider extension. No.
DPC and MPC. There are two.
Okay.
Data provider extension class.
Correct. DPC extension class. So we can write our custom code in the corresponding DPC extension class methods for create, for update, for delete, and everything. And even if you did not write any code but still even you have done some mapping. If you go and see, this mapping also is there in that method. You go and check the class now, DPC extension class, and go and see the code what is there for this get entity set now. How do you navigate? How do you go to that class? Very simple. Right click on the get entity set. Right click on get entity set. There is an option go to ABAP workbench. So it will directly take you to that method code, or you can navigate from the DPC extension class also. You see, it will directly taken you to the which class you see on the left hand side. Which class you moved on? DPC extension. In that class, if you scroll down, you can see that method called get entity set. Fully scroll down. Move the bottom horizontal bar. You will get one more vertical bar. Star get entity set. Get underscore. You do one thing, it will anyhow comes at the end only. You just scroll down. No. You move that horizontal scroll bar. You down that vertical scroll bar. Yeah. Now move the bottom horizontal scroll bar. Now you will see one more vertical scroll bar. Yeah. Right. That one, if you pull down, you can see all these methods at the end of that list. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to, yeah. So it is get. Let's go again. That small vertical bar only. Right. Pull it down and pull the horizontal bar.
మొత్తం pull it.
Yeah, just now press. No, don't pull it up. Just a step on step. Yeah, I know. You see here in these methods, already get entity set you have already implemented, but other methods you have not yet implemented. If you go and see, you will see the blank. But for get entity set, you will see some code. Let us go to get entity set. Yeah, you just leave that. This is actually the code, some sample code you are getting from the super class. We will override this method. You just come back. You go to that method called get entity set. This piece of code is just inherited from the super class. There is no logic. If you go to get entity set, scroll down. Just move up.
Up.
Right. So this is all. Yesterday we haven't written this one. So BAPI underscore company code underscore get list. That is the BAPI we mapped now. So that code
Yes.
automatically generated. The system is actually calling this BAPI and it is executing some code. Whatever the response it is getting directly, it is mapped. So all this code automatically generated. Even when you are writing this same thing manually also, you will also do the similar things in your own custom coding. But this method is implemented with the required logic, but not the remaining methods. That's why we cannot able to execute the other operations. We'll see how do we do that. We will take some custom table and on the custom table, we will try to implement all these operations. Okay, let me share my screen. So Tim, did you understand whatever we discussed, what we are trying to do?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right. So are you able to follow the session, what is happening?
Yes.
Good. So team, if you don't able to follow things, let me know. There is nothing wrong. I will give you another example. I will even discuss, I will elaborate that with more examples. But you must understand what is happening here. The reason is this is your core skill. This is going to be your core skill. That's why I'm explaining each and every thing in a attempt very minute level by keeping your level of experience also. Usually the same thing when I deal with more lateral senior people. I use it to just run things more faster because anyhow they are able to follow. Because this is very, very important skill set which you cannot avoid. This is the core skill you are going to use in all of your upcoming projects, application developments. The more you know about these things, technically how it is generated, how it is working. That's why I'm just not only showcasing what is happening on the front end side. We are discussing what is happening behind the scenes also. I'm trying to open up everything technically about what classes generated, what methods generated, how the piece of code is getting generated. Right? We are trying because I'm trying my best actually to make you all understand these concepts to the deepest level possible. The reason is it is not something like one more new skill you are learning. This is not a new skill. This is going to be your core skill. A must to have skill, especially the CDS, the ODATA. Without these, you cannot able to make any developments in your RAP applications also. All right. So we are here in this third line, define and consume OData services and URI patterns. We are executing various URI operations, right? $top, $scale, $count, $filter, $select. Let me go to the remote system. So we will try to execute some custom operations like BAPI mapping we have seen. Similarly, various BAPIs available with you. You can map if there are available for create to update to delete for every operations also. In case if you don't have any reusable functionality like that, if you don't have a suitable functionality, then what do? You only have to write your own coding for writing the select statements, for getting the data from the required tables, update statement to update the data in the table, delete statements, or calling any internal function modules. The coding, the custom logic is up to you, whichever you are convenient to code that. So how do we execute that? We will try to create we will create a new G table and in that some employee table like that. And we will try to execute all these operations by writing our own custom logic for executing these operations on that custom table. So that the end-to-end process also you people can able to follow. So let me create quickly one simple table here. So I'm not explaining to him how to create a table because I know you know that. So let me just create one simple table. So grep underscore employee underscore 00. Example, in this table, I wanted to have some fields like employee ID, then employee name, designation, then employee gender, then employee city, then employee basic, wanted to have some fields like. So we don't have any corresponding data elements. Tell me, is it mandatory that we need to have data elements for creating the table? Or without the data elements also can we do?
You can do built-in types. Built-in types you can also without using the data.
We can do by using built-in types also, but let us have some data elements so that it is easy while the structures also getting created for you. Grep underscore employee is my data element. Similarly, grep underscore employee. Then we'll quickly create these data elements. Employee ID, the local object. Let me make this employee ID as my key field here. This is going to be my inner key field. Then employee name. Is it compulsory that data element and domain name should be same?
No.
Should it? Did not be same. So I just wanted to take only one single character here. And for I just wanted to allow only male and female. So M for male and F for female. So I just wanted to allow only accept only these two values. The employees. So local object and then activate it. For the domain, we can make it a fixed range only to accept fixed values only. So like that, I given here two values M and F as a domain range values for the gender definition, and in the field label, employee gender. then employee city. So we'll have to take only character 3 character city, Hyderabad, Bangalore, some shortcut codes only to accept. There are also some fixed ranges you can provide if you want. And finally, basic. Let me take some design.
Hey, you know, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features: bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
Okay, so with that, we have done all the data elements creation required for this table for all these fields, which is going to be your custom table. There are no currency quantity fields to be added, no such elements to be added, no indexes. Finally, the extension category, we will go to technical settings, and data class, we will keep it like master table, and size category, we'll keep it like 0 or 1. Okay, size category 0, we can keep up. Save this. And filters. Okay, so we'll check for the errors. That's okay. Client field we have not maintained. Still, that's okay. Mandate field we need to maintain. That's okay. So table got created. So this is your table, right? With these fields. So right now we don't have any entries in this table. If we go and check here, go to the table content information, and if you execute this, so right now we don't have any entries in this table. Number of entries currently it is 0. Okay, we'll create some sample entries here just for test purpose. So sample entries we can go for SC16, and this is your table. Let us go for create some entries from SC16. So employee ID is your key field, right? So 4-character one we given, right? So 1001, employee name, MR, resignation appointment, gender male, city Hyderabad, Sunday equals 25,000. So again, then employee ID 1002, employee name James, Sydney is also male, city Hyderabad, basic is 35,000. So then employee ID 1003. Shida, she is a manager. Shida is female. She is from Bangalore. Information is 45,000. Basically, 45,000. So we have created 3 entries into this table. Now, if we go and see the entries of this table, number of entries, you can see there are 3 entries in this table. And if we execute this, these are the records. So we have created one custom table with some entries, with some values over there. Things are fine. Now, this is some of your business transaction table. Some application is there, some entries are getting created. Now, in order to process this table, you wanted to develop one OData service for all operations like get entity set, create, update, delete, everything. Because somebody wanted to see all the employee records, somebody wanted to see who are all the employees staying in Hyderabad, somebody wanted to see who are all the female employees in our company, various filterings. Somebody wanted to see whose basic is highest one, and I wanted to list out all the employees, or I wanted to see employee ID 1003 information only, all these operations. And also I wanted my OData service to be programmed with executing the other operations also. That is for creating a new entry into this table by using OData, updating an entry on this table by using OData, deleting an entry of this table by using OData. So we wanted to execute the other operations also. Then your OData will be like a full-fledged OData, which is allowing the others to execute various operations on your backend database table. That need not be one table only, team. Your OData operation might be parallelly inserting the data into multiple tables also. Yeah, of course, it is all depend on how you are writing the coding. When you are creating a new sales order, will it update the data only in one table? No, right? It will update the data in the sales order header table, sales order line item table, and even so many other internally so many tables also will get inserted with a new entry. The moment you are creating a new sales order, okay, more than 10 tables will get added with one more new record. Header table, item table, delivery table, so many records will get updated. It all depends on how that is programmed, how that is coded. So let us execute that. So did you understand what actually we are trying to do now?
Yes, sir.
let us create a new OData project for executing various operations on this table. Then here go to SCGW. So let me create a new project here. ZRAP underscore. So I'm implementing. So these are called CRUD operations. Create operation, read operation, update operation, delete operation. So normally in shortcut we call it like the CRUD operations: create, read, update, and delete. So on OData we do perform these 4 types of operations. So read means your get entity and get entity set. Those two are called read. Get entity and get entity set also. Create, update, and delete also, Create is meant for post, update is meant for put, HTTP operation put, delete is meant for delete, and read is meant for get entity or get entity set. 0 underscore CRUD underscore 00. Let me take my OData project like that. OData CRUD operations. Let me save it like a local object. Right. So this is my operation code. You know that for executing the operations, first you need to have an entity set, entity type, and entity set. Normally, if you wanted to create your own entity type, first you can create one entity type with your own custom types here. Instantly, you can create an entity type and entity set also you can create. So entity type is something like a data type. Entity set is something like a data object, like integer type and integer variable. Character type, character variable. Table type, internal table. Structure type, structure object or work area. Class, class object. Entity type, entity set. So entity type is the basic definition of the data type. Entity set is the object you are deriving by using that entity type. So here also, as like yesterday example, we can replicate that entire table structure here as your entity set so that you can save some time. How do we do that? Right click on data model, create, so import. Create also you can do anyhow. You can create a new entity type, you can create some complex type, etc. So import, DDIC structure. So I wanted to use my employee table, whichever we created as a reference for creating your entity set. So I wanted to take my entity type like this, employee. And my entity set automatically get created. You see here, create a default entity set. This is by default comes here. That's why it is automatically creating one entity set also. If you don't choose on this, it will create only entity type. You have to create the entity set separately again. So entity type employee, automatically it will create one entity set employee set. That is okay. Then what is your table name that you can include here? The table we created is ZRAP underscore employee underscore 0. This is my table name. Click on next.
Sir, can you explain what is the radio button complex type?
A complex type is actually just for complex type is all about creating some entity type by using other entity type.
Okay.
It is also creating one, like for creating deep entity structure inside structure, we do use that.
Okay.
Both will create the entity types only. For creating more complex hierarchical structure, we do use complex type.
Okay.
Entity type, then go for next. So I wanted to have all these fields. You can choose them. So with these fields, the corresponding entity type will get created for you. So these are the field names it is proposing. These are the field names going to be created in your entity type. We are good with that. And employee ID, we will keep it like a key field in our entity set. Then we will go for finish. Right now, the system has created one employee entity type. Employee entity type is having these many properties.
Sir, like what is last one navigation properties just below the basic property?
Yeah, navigation property we will use for jumping from one entity set to other entity set. For example, so from sales order, about in sales order, I have the some group of line items. In that line item, I have each material, and in each sales order, if I wanted to know the material details also, we can able to navigate when you are calling the ODATA service from one entity set to other entity set. Suppose I'm getting the employee data. Again, about each employee, for example, in our company.
That can also be done with associations also, right? I think.
Yes, associations also. Here navigation is actually navigation property we will create. That one we will refer in the association. Together they will work.
Okay.
To navigate from one entity to other entity, we do use both navigations and associations together.
Okay.
I will show one example. I will show an example if time permits on that. Okay. So this is your entity type we created, and entity set also created here. And my entity set name is employee set. And we can implement these operations, create, update, delete. Now all these operations to execute, I don't have any sortable BAPIs. I mean, I don't have any ready-made function modules, standard function modules, which can help me out. Because this is my own table, so I only have to write the logic for retrieving the data, for updating the data, etc. Isn't it? So in that case, I cannot go for a mapping concept. I have to write my own logic. For doing, we will execute all that operations in that same way. For doing that, anyhow, first we need to generate the runtime artifacts. Once the runtime artifacts generated, the BPC extension class will get generated. There we will go and we will write the code. Okay. So let us generate the runtime artifacts. Click on this. Yesterday you did this. We go for generate runtime artifacts. Then the system is generating all the MPC and DPC extension classes here. Go there and go for local object creation. So all the classes are generated for you. There we can go and write the required logic. First, we will implement get entity and get entity set. Okay. So these are all the the required classes are generated here. We can implement these runtime objects now. So among these things, first we will try to implement this get entity set. This is to retrieve the complete information for all the records from the backend table, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So as we went there, right click on this, then we go to map to data source to map directly to the response of the BAPI. But we don't have that concept, so we are going to write our own coding. You can navigate here from this class also. From here also directly you can go to ABAP Workbench. It will take you to that method code only. So we are going to write the code in that corresponding method get entity set. So if you go down, there are a lot of methods you can see for executing so many operations. And finally, in this list, get stream, update stream, so many are there. And these are the methods that we need to write. Get entity set, update entity, delete entity, etc. on our employee set. Among this, first we are implementing this get entity set method. We are doing that in the DPC extension class. Then get entity set. But these methods are already inherited from our super class, and they will have some default code already there in that super class methods. Of course, they are not retrieving any data, but we are going to redefine these methods. Let us go to edit mode. Then we have to go to this icon called method redefinition, because we are going to write our own logic in this method. So go to get entity set and click on this method redefinition or redefine method. So when you go to the method redefinition, the existed code in the system already commented over there. We will leave that part here, and we do write our custom logic over here. And if you see here, even this is what they're actually trying to do. So they are calling some method from the super class method. Which method? Employee set, get entity set. Super class get entity set method they are calling in this method. See, that is actually included in the try block, because for handling the exceptions. Because this method call probably may throw two standard exceptions, two extra exception classes, which we are catching here. Catch if this is the first exception, catch if this is the another exception. Possibly these are the two possible exceptions. It may throw this standard method, I mean the superclass method may throw. That's why we are putting that in the try block, and in the catch statements we are catching them. Finally, end the try. This is how the exception handling will happen in our. So in each catch statement, you can write the alternative action, the corresponding error execution or error handling part. You will write under each catch statement. That will get executed in case if that particular exception got triggered. So here we do write our own coding. So here we only have to write our select queries to fetch the data from the database table. That is what we understood, right? Because we are not mapping this to any standard PCA or the ready-made function models. If you observe this particular method, let us go to the signature of this method. Signature means what are the import parameters and the export parameters this particular method is carrying. So signature, where do we see the signature of this method? Extensions, number, what is this? These icons, this navigation window. Yeah, here it is. Show our head signature. Should get a button for signature also here. Where is that button on section? Anyhow, hide or show signature. Here is the option. So this is the signature of this method. Signature means the import parameters and export parameters of that method. Obviously, every method will have some import parameters and export parameters, right? So before even you come to this the redefinition part, if you look at that, this is your method. If you click on this parameters icon, you can see that one. These are all these are all the importing parameters. And finally, there are some exporting parameters also there. These are all the parameters of this method. So that one only we are trying to do. So go to that method. So once if you redefine, every time you don't need to click on the redefine button. First time when you redefine, it will be there, and directly you can double click on that method. You can go there. So the standard code you commented out, you can remove that also if you don't like. And here you can write your own custom code. In the list of signature, in the list of parameters, if you observe, so these are all some importing parameters I told you, right? And even you look at this symbol, these are all the importing parameters. If you come to the end, there is one exporting parameter here, ET_entity set. See, this is this is a table type parameter. How do I know it is a table type? It is an internal table basically. You see TT_employee. So there is a table type created in this class, model provider class. This is your ODATA project. On the project, model provider class is created. In the model provider class, there is a table type for returning the data. So this is basically going to carry the information to the response. So whatever data you wanted to send back for this get entity set, that you need to fill in this particular export parameter, ET_entity set. So this is an export parameter which is carrying all the response back to the OData user. So you have to fill the required data into this export parameter by performing any select queries, fetch the data, do the calculations, do whatever is the final set of data to be prepared in this ET_entity set. This is that exporting parameter. If I understand what is this parameter type, you see, it is a table type. You double click on that, you can navigate there. So TT_employee is created in this class, model provider class, in the public definition. If I click on that type definition, I can see. So TT_employee is created of type standard table of TS_employee. So TS_employee is a structure type. You see, TS_employee is created as a structure type with reference to my database table in the public section. So it is created as a structure type. By referring to that structure type, that created one table type also. And so many other types also created. But anyhow, TS_employee is a structure type. TT_employee is a table type, internal table type. We have that types prepared already in that MPC class combined. That one is used here as a reference type because it is public type. We are directly accessing with the class name itself, right? So that the type the system used here as a reference for this ET_entity set. This is the data we need to fill up. Let us do. So I'm just reading the data directly into this. In case if you wanted to read the data from two different tables and you wanted to merge some data, do some calculations, you can do that. First, you prepare you declare some local tables here, local internal tables, fetch the data from all the relevant tables, do the calculations, loops, and everything. Finally, you put the data in the ET_entity set. So your ET_entity set need not be the whole table. In this example, we have taken the whole table, but in real, your entities will have only 5 to 10 fields, 15 to 20 fields like that, which will not take all the fields of the database table. My VBAK, my VBAP, will it take all the fields of the table? No, only few fields. That fields only you have to select. That fields only you have to fill in this ET_entity set. So as I have the data here, let me write my select query. So because we are reading all the data from the table, we select star from my table. My table name is ZRAP_employee_00. This is my table name, right? Select star from table name into better corresponding fields of table. This is the one, my entire entity set. Because this entity set is having all the fields as like my table. That's why I'm taking. Otherwise, I will get this data into first some local internal table. Then I will write a loop statement. Then I will avoid all the other fields. Then finally, I will safely fill only the required fields into my ET underscore entity set. Here directly, I can fill that data into ET underscore and entity set. I didn't use any set string, query string operations here. We will implement that after a while. Let us execute one after one. So I read some data from the table and I fill that data into this ET underscore entity set. Let me check for the errors. Activate my method coding. So all these classes to be activated team. You may look like you changed only one place, but whatever system suggested, you make sure you select every one of them and activate all of them. Done. So successfully, we have implemented our get entity set operation on our table. Similarly, we will try to write the code for get entity also. Or else first we will test this and after that we will implement get entity. That is better. Let us activate our class definitions also once again. All got activated. So we are good to go with the OData registration. So get entity set is implemented now for you. Remaining operations we need to implement. We will see that one as well. So let me go to a new session here.
Sir, is it necessary to regenerate these runtime artifacts again?
No, not required. Not required. In case if you make some major modifications, like if you added any new fields in the entity types, if there are any structural changes taking place, that time only we need to regenerate it. Otherwise, you activated the class, right?
Yes, we.
So there is no structural changes taking place. Only the method code only changed, and that method code you already activated. There are no structural changes taking place, so you don't require to regenerate the artifacts again.
Okay.
And I didn't do that also here. Let us register this service first. IWFND underscore IWFND slash mail underscore service. So let us register that service here. That service not yet added. We have to add. Let us go for add service. Co-deployed scenario. So the service name is star employee. I think CRUD. Star CRUD. Star. Let me search with this. Yeah, this is the one. Right. So, and these are some standard services, guys. We can even test that standard services also. So GRAP CRUD 00 underscore SRV. This is our OData service. Let us add this service. Click on add selected services. The service got select the service. Click on add selected services. Click on continue. So service was created and its metadata was also loaded successfully. Note down this line, metadata loaded successfully. I will tell you that. So let us come back. Then we can test that service here now by using the OData client. So let us search for that service, or I can navigate to the bottom of the list. The latest services I can find here with G. GRAP. I given GRAP. Yeah, this is the one. GRAP CRUD 00 service. select the service. Then let me go for, see, when you are registering, even that time also, the G, even for standard services also, the G will get added again. Let us go for gateway client. First, let us execute the service document. Initial service also should get work for you. Yeah, the service document should return the entity set name, employee set from the collection. And this is the complete URL of your service with your host name and the port number and the path. So this entire host name and path you can take out from here from the service documentation, Control C. So let me take that into our PPT. So from Postman or from other systems, if you wanted to test that, that is a place we need to go through, right? So let me paste here. Not got copied. So this is our SAP host name, SAP port number /SAP/OPO ODATA SAP. This is your service path. Later we will test that from Postman also. Let us come back here. So our service is reaching. Now let us execute the get entity set. So for the get entity set, you know that one, right? Entity sets, you can go. You can see all the entity set names there. You can type it or you can directly choose from here. So you are calling the employee set by using get. So when you are not passing the key field, this will know that you are not trying to call get entity. You are trying to call get entity set. You are trying to call get entity set. So when you are not passing the key field, it is actually the call for get entity set. When you are passing the key field, system will automatically redirect that call to get entity, not the get entities. Let us execute. If your code is correctly implemented, you should be able to retrieve the whole data here. If I go and see there, yes, this is our employee data 1001 and employee ID 1002 James and employee ID 1003 Sudha. So JSON format, XML format, you can get all the details here. So like this, we can able to retrieve the data from the table by using the get entity set. Sometimes here we will be using some filter string also, team, or search string also. For example, I wanted to get all the employees whose name starting with James, whose name starting with J. I wanted to get all the employee names whose name starting with yes, like that. That kind of searching string also we can able to pass in your URL request. In case if we are doing that kind of thing, then where is my other session here? On the tab.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
Let us go back to your OData. Go to ABAP Workbench. We can pass some search string also, like wildcard characters also, when you are triggering the OData. In case if you have given that kind of string, then your OData service code also should get implemented accordingly. So let me modify our earlier coding like this. Let me go to edit mode. To see, in case if the user has given any wildcard character searching in the URL request, in the OData URL request, that parameter will comes into one of the importing parameter IO take request context. Where is that? You see here. In this list of importing parameters, you see IO input output technical request context. This is of some type reference to some standard type it is there. So basically, this importing parameter will contain, in case if the user has given any filter based strings. I mean, filter string is different. Like set strings are different. In case if it is there, that will comes into this importing parameter IO take request context. So from there, we will fetch that. We will use that in the where condition like this. Let me write that code here. For example, here, data search string, type string. Whether a user has given any search string or not, I will fetch like this. Search string is equal to IO take request context. This is a importing parameter, right? It is an object actually. This object is having a method control space. Get underscore search underscore string. In case if there is any search string that will come, that I captured here. After that, if there are any symbols, so that all I will replace all occurrences of star. In case if there are any star symbols in search string with, because in OData that should get replaced with the percentage. In ABAP, star is equal to percentage, right? The symbol that we should replace. Then finally, we will be writing the select query like this. If such a string is not mutual, then I will fetch the data according to such a string, where that condition I will put it in such a string. Else, in case if there is no such a string, then I will write the same select query, this time without where condition. See? Both are same. It's not just string. Set where there is a filter string, I will be using the filter string. Where will be filter string. IB underscore filter string is another importing default variable team. Then finally, and check for the errors.
Sir, like in else condition, you have written that IV filter string. What does it mean?
So IV filter string is one of the implicit, it is also one of the importing parameter you see here. The importing parameters
String. Sir, string.
you see here, IV filter string is a string parameter. IV underscore filter underscore string is one of the importing parameter. In case if user has given any filter criteria, that filter criteria will come into this IV filter string. That one I am using here as a where condition. But if the user has given any such parameters, that will comes into IO take request context. From there, I extracted that set string. I replaced that star in that with a percentage symbol, and that one we use it here in the where condition. In case if there is no search based query, only filter based query is there. That filter query we are using in the where condition. Even if there is no filter query also, that is a blank. So where condition will not work. Where condition will not get executed over there. I will show you on the output result. But IV filter string is also one of the importing parameter for this method. Let me activate this. Let us go back to your ODATA call. Here it is. This remote access is making a little confused. So the gateway client, activate maintenance service, gateway builder. Okay, gateway client we can go. This is our thing. We have already tested our service. But one thing you have to do, guys, if you have modified anything in the same method, that is okay. But if you have written new methods, because get entity, create entity, those methods not yet implemented. Only the existed method only you modified. But anytime, what is a good practice is, if you have modified anything in your OData service, this is the place you registered the OData service, right? You go this place, and in this place your service is already there, but just you click on this button, load metadata. If you return the code for get entity, update entity, or any modifications if you made in the methods, after that you come here and you click on this refresh load metadata. This is basically upload your latest changes of the OData definition into this OData registry. Otherwise, the OData might get updated and activated, but still even that new changes will not reflect in the OData registration. OData registration also should get updated. You no need to regenerate artifacts or something. Just come here and click on this button, refresh, reload service metadata. That is enough. Then we can test this service. So let us go back to our gateway client. Employee set we already executed. And last time we got the result here. I got 3 employee details. Employee ID 1001, 1002, 1003, all this data we got. But now, how do we test this is like, so here we can provide a filter string, $filter, $filter is equal to, for example, I wanted to get only the city Hyderabad records, not other fields. So city equal to, here we should not use equal to symbol. We have to write it like EQ. City equal to Hyderabad. city equal to Hyderabad. So when you say filter criteria, filter equal to city, city equal to Hyderabad, I wanted to get only Hyderabad city records. So this one will go to IV underscore filter underscore string, and that you have used in the where condition, so that the select command will fetch only the Hyderabad based records. Let me execute this, because you have implemented. Otherwise, this won't work in the where condition. It will retrieve all the records. But now, if you see the response of this service, I got Kumar record, and I got James record, but I did not got Sudha record, because Sudha not belongs to Hyderabad. Sudha belongs to Bangalore. So Bangalore record not fetched for me. Only the other city records which are belongs to Hyderabad only got retrieved because of the filter string. Similarly, such string also we can use. I forgot that. Let me check that such string also. To be usable. So this is how filter will work. Filter city equal to Hyderabad, filter gender equal to female. So I wanted to fetch only the female records. Should be case sensitive, gender equal to female. Only that records I wanted to fetch out. So if I click on execute, I got the response. And now if I see the response this time, only Sudha record only will come to you, because she is the only employee belongs to female, and other records are male, so that are not retrieved here. Like that, filter string will work. Search string also will work in the similar way. I will test it and I will show you that. So this is how we do write our own custom coding team. So we'll take a small break here. After this, I will show you how to implement get entity, how to pass key fields, and how to retrieve that key fields data. And also we will try to implement the other operations also. So in this one, so we have executed that get entity set, but now if you call the get entity, that will not work here because we have not implemented that get entity operation. So get entity is all about retrieving one single field, one single record based on the key field input. So if you execute right now, we are getting all the records, all the 3 records retrieved here, and we have seen that output as well in the previous execution. But if I wanted to get this employee ID 1001 information, right? So here you need to pass that key field in your request URL here like this. Employee ID case sensitive. If it is a character field, you should put it in single quotes. If it is a numeric field, then you don't require to put it in the single quotes. Directly you can give. We have taken it as a character field, so we will put it in the single quotes. As you have only one key field, you don't require to write this EID also. Directly you can give 1001. System will understand that this is actually the value you are looking for, employee ID, because there is only one key field. But if there are multiple key fields, then you must pass the field names also along with the field values. So these are the 2 possible ways. And if there is another key field and city like that, if that is also another key field, you have to give. Only key fields to be given in the brackets, not the other fields. The moment you provide the key field, if you execute, system will understand that you are trying to call get entity, but it is clearly indicating that it is not implemented. The get entity method not yet implemented. 501 status we are getting. We will implement that and we will come back. So here we wanted to fetch the employee record equal to this given employee ID. That is our ask. So for doing that, go to your gateway service builder. This is the method to be implemented, get entity. Right click on this, then click on go to ABAP Workbench. Go here. Let us go to that method get entity. So this is the method get entity we have to implement here. Again, we will go to change mode. Then for get entity method, let us go to the method redefinition. Click on this method redefinition code for get entity and implement the corresponding coding. Here, this is the signature. That means all the import export parameters. So whatever the key field value you are passing, that key field value will comes into this importing parameter, guys. Look at this. IT underscore key underscore tab. This is one internal table. So whichever key fields we are passing, maybe one key field or multiple key fields, each key field and the corresponding value of that field will come and fall in this importing internal table. From this internal table, we have to fetch that record about whatever the user given value, that value will be there in this internal table. From that internal table, we have to fetch that value. That value we should use in our select query to get that exact employee record. If there is no suitable employee record, one error message will be thrown to the user. But the input data, whichever user is providing, so here the gateway client, he is giving now employee ID is equal to 1001. This information, like this is the field name, this is the field value. The field name and field value both will come to this particular internal table. From there, we will fetch that data. Finally, the output we have to send back to the screen by using this exporting parameter ER underscore entity. If you observe here ER underscore entity, you see this one that is declared with reference to TS underscore employee. It is a structure type because get entity always retrieving only one single record. It is not sending multiple records to the user. Always it is sending only one record as a response to the user, to the caller. That is the reason this is the parameter we need to fill with that corresponding data record equal to the given key field value. And this is declared with reference to TS employee. That means it is not an internal table. It is a structure object. It can contain only one record. Let us see the required code for implementing this operation. First of all, we need to fetch what is the key field value user has given. That record data we need to get from this internal table. And this internal table is created with reference to some table type, T underscore MGW, name, value, paid. If you see what is the fields in this table type, you can double click there. It will have two fields, name and value, that is declared with this line type. You go there. So that has the name as a first field, value as a second field in each row. So the key field name will go to name, the value comes under value. Got me? So this is the fields you are passing, right? This field name EID will go to name. This 1001 will go to value field. Like that it works. And this is the corresponding structure parameter. So with this structure, with this line type, we will create our own structure in our program to read the data. Let us go to the method implementation. So here, first we'll create our own structure as data. For suppose work area, key tab, of type, the one which I copied. So any name, you can take any field name, work area key tab, some work area we are taking with reference to the same above structure, IWBEP / S underscore GW underscore name value. This is a, you see from where I taken this type. This is a type of the IT key tab. You take IT key tab that is declared with reference to this table type T underscore. In the same thing, there is a structure object also S underscore. This one only I have taken here. I just structure object. If you have multiple key fields, you can take multiple work areas like that. And after that, I can read the data from the user like this. Read table from the internal table above IT underscore K underscore tab. IT underscore K underscore tab into our work area. Work area underscore K underscore tab. So right now I'm passing only one key field. Otherwise, I can write a loop at statement also, loop at IT key tab into work area to read all the key fields. As many key fields are there, that many will go through the navigation. Right now it is only key field, so index 1. First record I read it out. Otherwise, I can write a loop statement also for reading all the records of the internal table. Then I can use them in our select query. So I get the first record here. After that, I can fetch the required data, select single star from our table GRAP underscore employee underscore 00 into corresponding piece of our exporting structure. Our exporting structure here is ER underscore entity. ER underscore entity can take only single record. ER underscore entity, but of which employee? Exactly the key field employee, right? Where that employee ID should be equal to, already we read that employee ID value. Work area key tab. In work area key tab, there are two fields, name and value. We have to take the value here in the where condition. If there are multiple key fields, you need to fetch in the similar way, guys. You have to write a loop statement on this internal table to read the first key field, second key field. All of them you need to use in the where condition. So I get the data into this ER underscore entity based on the given input key field. You can keep a debugger point here, and you can check it out also how these are getting filled into the work area table. Check for errors, activate this. They got activated. Now we are good to test this OData service. Let us go to gateway client again. Now, if you provide this employee ID is equal to 1001, and if you say execute, now this time we got the response 200, and if you go down, I got the employee ID 1001 return. So let me try employee ID 1002. So whether you give the value or not, field name or not, up to you, because it is only one field. 002. You can execute. I got the status, and the record we got is 100. If I provide some unknown employee ID, the select query does not return anything. So you will be notified with the corresponding error messages. Because it is a 400 series. It is executed, but not found any response. There is no record found there in the system with that respect to given there. So 404 status is indicating that it could not able to found any resource with the given input. If you provide 1003, we got the response again 200, and we got the 1003. So this is how we can execute key field information also, key field based search also. Similar way, you can write the code for update operation, delete operation, and create operation also. So I will give you. Okay, let me cover up that remaining pieces of code also. After that, I will give you this as an exercise for you to execute. Any questions here, team? In get entity, is it clear for everyone?
Yes.
Similarly, let us execute the code for create entity, update entity, and delete entity also. So when you are testing the service from your gateway client, so for creating a new record, so getting the record we are doing here, we got a record here as well. Employee set.
Our comprehensive student metrics ensure top-notch learning experiences. We track engagement through attendance, participation, and video interactions. Performance is measured via quiz scores and assignment submissions. We monitor learning behaviors, including time spent and revisit patterns. Our metrics cover social learning, course completion rates, and even post-course success. With technical data on platform usage and device information, we optimize every aspect of your learning journey.
We got a record here. That record retrieved here. But if you wanted to execute post a new record, then instead of get, you will be choosing the post method. But when you are choosing the post method, your request remains the same. But while posting, you see this is the response, HTTP response window you are finding on the right hand side. But for posting the record, you have to provide some input also, right? You have to provide some record also, a new employee record that you wanted to post it into the table. So that new employee record 1004, fourth record, you have to put it in the HTTP request. So exactly in the same format, you have to prepare a new request that you have to put it in your HTTP request, and finally you have to execute the service. Then the post method will take the data that you put it in your HTTP request, and it will insert that response successful status. You will get it on the right hand side. For posting and for updating, you should pass some input. That input you should pass along with your HTTP request. That is there on the left hand side window. So for doing that, there is one easy option available here. That is here in your, so you got some response here, right? On the right hand side, you got some response here, right? So this response about one single employee record, whatever you got here, this one you can use as request. There is a button here, use as request. You click on that button. This entire data is actually copied here on the left hand side window also as in the HTTP request. So you don't need to worry about how to prepare your input message. This is the format for your input message. You leave all the things as it is. So here you wanted to create a new employee, right? So for creating a new employee here, so this is the data. I wanted to create a new employee with 1004, with a new employee name, new designation, new gender. I can fill all these fields. Okay, I will correct this. I will fill all these fields and I will choose the post method and I do execute. Then this data will be passed as an input message. As an input message to my ODATA service, and that we will read out, that we will insert into the table. So you should pass the request input message along with your HTTP request. That message, whatever you put in here, that message is automatically received in one of the in one of the important parameter. That parameter name is IO_data_provider. That is the import parameter available in the create method. From there, we can read out this data, and this data as easily we can try to insert into your table as well. So first, let us implement the code, and after that, we will execute this. That is how we should write the code for post method. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Let us go to our code implementation. So far we implemented get entity and get entity set only. So this time let us go for implementing the other method, create entity also. Let us go to create entity, go to edit mode, create entity, then go for this method redefinition. So you are redefining the method for create. Here also you have key tab. Here you have ER entity, and the most important parameter is this one, IO data provider. So whatever input message you are sending, that will comes and fall in this object. From this object, we will retrieve that data that we will try to insert into the table. But the input data given by user is coming into this importing parameter IO_data_provider. So let us implement the code for create method also. So let us, for receiving the data with reference to your table structure, let us take some employee, some structured data. Type from your model provider class, you can take that one. ZCL_. Is your model provider class? This one, no? ZCL_. ZRAP_. CRUD_00. RDC. Here in that class, your structure type is already created like ES_employee. Same like the ER entity, you have taken one structure here for reading the data. I said the input messages are already arrived into this object parameter IO data provider. From there, we will read that information. With IO data provider, in IO data provider, there is a method called press control space to get some help. Read entry data. There is only one method. This is the one. Read entry data. That method is having one importing parameter, control space, ES_data. So that data we are importing into our work area_. So that object is having only one method, read entry data. The user input data will comes into this parameter. That one we are importing into our own structure. Our structure name is W_employee. Now that record, you filter out, you check out, his employee name is blank, his employee designation is blank. Any conditions you wanted to check, you do all that validations. If all are good, if all is valid, finally, if you're okay to insert the data into the table, then finally you can insert the data. For inserting, see, if you want to call any BAPI here, you can still do that. Let us call that function. Let us call any standard BAPI. Let us call any standard function here also. and you can do that job. This is your custom code. Will you call any standard function, any standard WAPI, any existed coding? That is all up to you. You can write your own logic for implementing the required job to get there. So we are directly inserting here, we will do that. When there is no use available thing, we have to do this one only. Insert into our table, z var underscore employee underscore 00. This is my table. I'll use W underscore employee, our work area employee. We are just checking whether the insertion was successful or not. If I sub RC is equal to 0. So guys, I'm writing everything in capital letters just because you will see things in more clear manner. Otherwise, we will follow the actual coding standard only. That is, keywords should be in capital letters and remaining program statement should be in the small letters. That is the right way of writing. So sub RC is equal to 0. Just whatever the year underscore entity is a exporting parameter, right? We will fill that with the work area data. Just the same record will be exported back, indicating that that record is successfully created. That's it. So in this one, the most important thing is how we fetch the input data by calling this method read entry data. And other validations and other things, we can test it out. Check for the errors. Active. So we have implemented the code for create. Similarly, let us implement the code for update and delete methods also. And after that, we will try to execute all of them together at once. Come back. Create entity got implemented. Then you go for update entity also. Go here.
If we want to create multiple entries at a time, then
Multiple, so that is called deep insertion. There is a separate methods to handle that. So deep insertion, deep actions, we have different methods actually to get execute that we need to implement this. But in this one, you can pass only one single record by using the create entity. Other methods are there. Deep entity, in that deep entity methods, by implementing that, we need to execute that. Even there are so many other things also about media handling, about storing some pictures data, audio, video messages also into the tables. Lot many things actually we can do. We'll see as much as we can, because time also should support us. I will try as much as I can share it with you. But yeah, deep entity operations are also available. With that, you can able to execute multiple record insertion operations also. Let us go for update entity. Let us go for redefine. Even for update also the same thing. The user is supplying some input data. So that data you wanted to update in the existed record. Even in that case also, that input data will comes with the IO data provider only. So that entry string we will use for reading that data. And the same record, instead of insertion, we'll do update. Let us write the code for that as well. Basically, that operations will get executed from the front end side, from any UI application or from any other application. During that time, whichever multiple records you are trying to insert, you will actually call this OData URL multiple times for every of your record. That is how the multiple record insertion also will happen. So here's underscore employee. Let us fetch the data. I'll go to data. Read data. Control space. Then we will update the record. There are multiple ways to write the update command. We can use many syntaxes for doing that. Update our table name, zero underscore employee underscore 00. Set from values also you can use, or from individual set command also you can write. Set employee name is equal to the area employee name. Set employee name, set designation. What is the next field? Designation. Designation. Center. Setting. Basic. Where employee ID is equal to given. Yeah. You can do right like that also, or directly update a table name from work area. That one also you can write, or individual fields only a few fields only if you wanted to update, not everything. Then you can use whichever you wanted to change by using the set command also. So save it out. Check for there is your data provider is on something expected by something wrong. Your data provider spelling mistake. I think this is not step. Okay. Provider. Space. Space. Leave that there. Space. Importing. Control space. Stepping. Then for this, actual test. So we are just writing a very simplified coding because our focus is here only to execute that operation. But in the real uses, we will do a lot of validations, checks, conditions, usaging. Then finally, we do execute the actual task. Okay, it is custom code. You can write hundreds of lines of code also within these methods according to your actual need and requirement. Similarly, let us implement the code for delete entity also. Finally, we will test them. Let us come back. And delete entity is the method we have. Go to the definition. So here, delete is not like input message, guys. Delete also will work out based on the key field value only. So whichever record you are trying to delete, that you will not pass that one in the HTTP request header. You will be passing that as a key field. That key field entry only we will try to delete. So again, like update, like insert command, you have to do that data work area key. Right? Slash IW slash S underscore NGW name value. Then we will read the key field data from the internal table. The key field data will comes into ID key tab. So read table ID key tab. ID key tab is an internal importing parameter, right? Into work area key. I have taken here as work area key. Work area key tab. Right now we are passing only one field. So we are taking index 1. Otherwise, you will write a loop statement. If size of parcel is equal to 0, that means if the user has really given a key field, then only we are executing this operation. When I wanted to delete them, delete from your table name, ZRAP employee underscore 00, where employee ID is equal to carrier key, one, control space. These are the fields of your table. Right. And then save it. Check for the errors. Activate it. So we have implemented all the methods over here, team. But actually, for testing these methods, create, update, and delete methods from our ODATA client, we are getting some issue with some token issue. That XSRF token is not properly getting generated in the recent times in some of the systems for testing these things. So we will try to test these things from the Postman, like how we did yesterday. I will show them. So all the methods are created and activated successfully. So we can execute these scenarios now from our Postman. This is our see. And this is server, our service, Jira, CRUD Jira service, get method. We click on send. Authorization issue. Yeah, because it is SAP server, right? So we need to provide the authorization. Let me give my basic authorization. My user ID and password will be here. Because my SAP OData service, I cannot call directly like SLS Northwind service without giving my user ID. So let me provide my user ID. Zira What is the user ID? What is the user ID team?
ZSAP, REAP,
ZSAP,
REAP.
RAP. Let's go 0. Then let's go M. Let us go back here and let me explain this. Yeah. So I can able to hit to this host name, this port number, and my service got triggered, and this is the service documentation. And in this one, let us call our entity set employee set. So slash, let us read all the employee set. I click on send button. Yeah. So I got all the employee records here. Employee ID 1001, employee ID 1002, employee ID 1003. They're all working fine. Then only one single employee record if you wanted to fetch. Employee set 1001, 1003. Only a single record, get entity. If you click on send button, right? Yeah. So get entity is also working. Similarly, we can try create, update, and delete also. But for create, update, and delete to try, there is a procedure actually. We need to have some token ID and session ID information that we need to provide while executing this other operations like post operation, put operation. For these operations, we need that one session ID that is actually one internal ID system will generate, and one token ID also. That two fields of data we need that we will use while executing the post method, put method, and the delete method. But how do we get that? For getting that information, what you need to do is you are executing one get operation right here. You are executing get operation. That time you are getting some record also. During execution of this get operation, this is the request data. You see, above one is request. This is request authorization. This is request headers. This is request body. This is the request scripts. This is all request data. And the bottom one is the response data. This is the response body, response headers. You see headers and headers. There are 7 headers in the request. There are 9 headers in the response. This is the request. This is the response body, the one you are finding. This is the request body. Of course, here in the get one, we are not sending any request body. There is no body required for get operation. So we are not putting, but for put and all, we'll do that. So here the upper part is request data. The bottom part is the response data. So when executing this get request, you do one thing. You ask for that token ID. That token ID will come back to you along with this response. When you're executing this get request, you ask the system, hey, please give me that token ID value also of my SAP system. That value also will come to you. You copy that value and use that for executing the remaining post operations, put operations, and delete operations. But how do we request my system? In the request parameters here, we have to write this value x hyphen CSRF hyphen token. X hyphen CSRF hyphen token, and give a value called fetch. So please fetch the value of this CSRF token from the system. At the time of your get request, you are informing the system, please give me this CSRF token value. Fetch that value and pass on to me. You are asking. It will fetch that data and it will show that information in the response header. Right now, in the old, I have not executed this, guys. If I go here headers, you will not see that token data here in the response header. Earlier it was not there, but this time it will come. In the response header, it will come because in the request header, you are asking the system, please fetch the value of CSRF token. Key is a CSRF token, value is fetch. This one we are giving in the request parameters. Let us see. Let us send this request again. Click on send button. To send the request, you got normally employee response, but this is not our requirement right now. I wanted this token value. So where do I get? You go to this response headers. In the response headers, if you see now, cookie content, cache control server model. It did not come. Let me give small letters here. X icon, CSR icon. Okay. X CSR token value fetch. Let me send that request. Please come.
ZaranTech's SAP training delivery is a well-crafted journey. We start with a discovery call to understand your needs, followed by a tech call with a certified instructor. Our customized curriculum leads to live, interactive training sessions with hands-on labs. Access course materials through our learning management system anytime. We track your progress with detailed metrics and conclude with a fun, gamified final quiz. Upon completion, receive a verifiable certificate. With ZaranTech, your SAP training is not just comprehensive. It's engaging, practical, and tailored to your success.
Let me put it in the not in the parameters. Not in the parameters, authorization, in the request header. Let me put that X icon. Yeah, sorry. We have to put it in the request header too, not in the parameters. In the request header, X icon, CS. Icon, CS RF icon, okay. And fetch. Let me give this data now. Let me send my request again. So I have to make this request in the headers, in the request headers, click on send. Now this time you see, I got to 10 parameters. So I got the token value also, X CSR token. So this is the token data. You copy this value. We need this value for passing our post method, put method, control C. Let me copy this token value into one of my PPT file. So this will be different from system to system. You need this value. So this is your token data. You keep it with you. And we need another information also, that is session cookie. So that also will come here. That value will automatically come to you. You don't need to make any separate request for that. You see here cookie, set cookie is there now. So that information also you copy. Click, Control C, paste that in the cookie. This one automatically come to you, cookie data, set cookie data. You copy that and keep it with you. Right? So the above one is token value, and the below one is the cookie value. So these two field values you capture and store it with you. Now go back to our earlier scenario. So we call the get method, we pass the value here, and we got the response here. This is all fine. Along with that, in the response, I got the token information and also I got the cookie information. Those two informations I stored it separately. Now this time I wanted to pass which method? Post method. Let me go to post method for creating a new record. For creating a new record on the employee set, I am doing. But This is not required anymore. So I don't need this to CSRF token. Let me delete that. Right? That is not required for me. So we need to pass a new record, right? A new employee record. So what you can do is that this data, Control A, Control C, whatever the earlier record you got here, you go to body and you put that here. Paste it here. Same, just some sample data, some sample test data. You can paste it here in your request body. In the request body, whatever the earlier response you got, because we need that structure to prepare. So instead of that, we copied that message and we put it over there. So here, I wanted to create a new employee ID 1004. Then employee name. Ajaram. He's our CFO, finance lead. He's male and he sits in Mumbai office. So location, Mumbai. And basic is 65,000. So I have prepared a new record in the request body to send to the user. And this data is not in JSON format, that data is there in XML format. Okay, change it to XML format. So this is the 1004 Rajaram, CFO, gender male, gender male. Then look, city is Mumbai, basic 64,000, something I put the new data. So this value I am going to send. But before that, I told you now, I need to pass that cookie information and token information also. So that information I will be passing in my request headers. How do I pass it? X-CSRF token. So that data, whatever I captured earlier in my PPT, that value I will take here. Control C. I will paste that value here. And similarly, cookie. The cookie information, I will be taking that second value. Control C. Interesting. So both token value and cookie value, I need to put it here while passing the post method. And this is my URL. And this is my body. And this body, this data I'm passing in the XML format. Now this data will go to that IO underscore data underscore provider that will read out this data. And then this data will get inserted in case if the given token ID and cookie ID is properly accepted by the system. And the method also you should change to post method. Let us execute this scenario. We will see that. Let me click on send button. So the request send. Now here you see we got the message 201. So 200 is a successful retrieval. 201 is a successful creation. It is also saying created. And that message also, you see, we copied that data into ER underscore entity. If you remember that code, if the SAISABARC value is 0, we filled that ER entity with this record. So the same record we got here. That means that record successfully inserted into the table. In the response, we retrieved that data. If you see that code, let me go and see in our system. See earlier, if you look at this code, create entity. So we fetch the data from IO data provider. And after that, after the insertion, if the SAISABARC is 0, what we put, that input data, we kept under ER underscore entity. ER underscore entity is an export parameter. That's why that exported data we are actually finding here. That means that record inserted into the table. Let us see in the table also. So go here, go to any one system here. So let me go to SC16. this is the table. If you see the table content, number of entries, now it is showing 4 entries, close. And if I execute this, I can see that there is a new entry also, 1004 Rajaram, CFO Manager Mumbai. I mean mail Mumbai, 65,000 basic. That record also inserted into this table from Postman when we tested this. Even from SAP GUI also you can do this testing, guys. But there are some issues coming when you are testing from gateway client. Here also you can do that. 1004. Okay, Rajaram, you can provide that details here in the request header, and you can go to post. You can check it out. But here also in the request header, you need to fill that cookie information and token information, cookie information and token information. You see, in the header parameters, you need to add that parameters here. Header name, cookie, and the cookie value, the same value. Similarly, header name, CSR of token, and the token value. That need to be filled in. Then after that, from here, if you execute, this also will work out. But it may lead to some problems also. The token value is not properly working out in the new systems when we are testing it from gateway client. So let me go to Postman. So create operation we have executed successfully. Similarly, for example, for Rajaram, unfortunately, I didn't. I given his location like Mumbai, but actually it is wrong. He is also working from Bangalore, so I want to change that from location Bangalore, and basic also wrongly given last time. I wanted to change to 75,000. So 2 fields I am updating, remaining fields remains the same, but his location should get updated to Bangalore, and basic also should get updated to 75,000. Remaining all same. So this is the change I wanted to make on this entry. So same, your cookie data, your token data remains the same. In the body, same employee ID, but some different field values I changed here. So this time I should go to the put method. So go to put method, the same body, and then execute it. But while executing the put method, it will actually expect the key field value also. Let us try this one first. It will come send. Yeah. So method not allowed, it is saying, because for update, you should actually pass the key field value here, whichever record you are trying to update to. So employee ID is equal to 100. For update only, for create not required. You will anyhow mention all the required field values here, but the key field also you should mention here for the put method for updating the record. Now let me send that request again. Right. So this time I got the message 204. That means it is also successful. The record got updated. We did not provide any response structure. So in the response body, we did not get anything, but we got the status here. Let us go and check it in the table. Here, if you go to the table, and if you click on refresh button here, you see Rajaram, but his location changed to Bangalore, and basic also updated from 65,000 to 75,000. So remaining fields remains the same because these are the only 2 fields we given the new values. That new values also updated. Mumbai location changed to Bangalore, and basic also increased from 65,000 to 75,000. So record updation also happened successfully here. But record updation, if you wanted to do, you should pass the key field also along with your request. Remember that. And finally, for deleting this record, if you wanted to do, you have to go for delete operation. And a delete operation does not require your body. You don't require it to pass in body. You can delete this also, guys. Now you don't require this body data right now to be passed. So I put it none. I'm not passing any body. Only thing is you have to pass again the token value, cookie value required, and the key field value here, whichever record you wanted to delete. For example, same Rajaram record I wanted to delete. employee ID 1004 to be deleted. Let me send the request. Again, we got the status code 204. That means it is got deleted. Let us go and see. So here, if I refresh, gone. That record is deleted from the table. So like this, all of your CRUD operations will work out. Only thing is create and update. If you wanted to test, as I told you, you need to generate that two fields. First time, when you are executing the get operation, during that time, go to headers. In the headers, you type this value X CSRF token and put the value called fetch in the request type and send it. You'll get the response body. And also, if you go to headers, you will get the value for cookie and the token. You copy that two values. Next time, when you're executing post method, put method, delete method, during that times, in the request headers, along with your body, in the request headers, that two information you have to put over here. The token value, whichever you copied, the set cookie value, whichever you copied, those two you have to pass to these two parameters. Without this, these methods will not get executed. And with that, we have seen the successful updation on your table for create also, update also, delete also. Get entity and get entity set anyhow, we already executed. This is how the ODATA service execution will work out, guys. But more than this, as I said, there are a lot of other operations also. Get stream, upload stream. So many methods are there. If you read out the documentation of ODATA from SAP help documentation, you can explore furthermore about how to implement a lot of other methods also. And slowly, you will come to know about navigations, associations, and many more extended entities. So many things will come. So, but the basic thing, how these are working, if you know the advanced things, you can definitely self-explore and you can find out more and more. Definitely on our upcoming sessions, as and when we are getting some relevant areas, I will try to share more details about ODATA on the go along with our topics, because we cannot buy out our time from the other topics only by spending on these topics. So every time I'm saying the same thing. As part of the recapping of the topics, we are trying to cover out all the basic things so that everyone will be familiar about how these are working out, etc.
Sir, like during the updatations, you updated only one record. Like, what if there are multiple records we want to update?
No, update always will happen along with one key field. Multiple records means employee ID 1004, employee ID 1005.
Like, what I mean is,
you
like,
want to update?
I want to delete 2 to 3 records at a time. So, like in work area means it will take only one single record.
Yeah, it is actually from the front-end applications. We need to call this URL multiple times only. Directly multiple records deletion by single URL command, no, that will not work out. That will not happen.
What this token and cookie will do, like what is their action?
These are basically the authorization stream. So you are testing from one client. So from server to client, they both will actually accept some protocol standards, and like this is the acceptable client for receiving the request and for executing the operations on this server. It is basically a kind of shake hand between the server and between the client. So by giving that token and cookie information, the server will identify that the request is coming from the proper device, from the authorized input, from the authorized client. The client knows about the server details. So the cookie and the token are basically an agreement between your client system and to the server system, because SAP is a server and Postman is the client. It is a shake hand to authorized and accept the request between these two systems, which is required for post and other operations, but not required for get operations.
Thank you.
It is a shake hand, understandable agreement between the server and client.
Yes, sir.